Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. All right, without no further delay, we'll quickly recap what we have covered yesterday, then we'll continue our topic for the day. Right. So, what did we cover in the last day? In the last day, we have understood the topic of functions. What is a function in Python? Function is nothing but a block of code. Okay, a block of code or lines of code, you know, that we keep in the function body. Right. What is the syntax for a function? Syntax for a function is def keyword followed by function name. Then in the parenthesis, we keep the parameters followed by colon, then the block of code or lines of code. Okay, it's better if you keep a doc string, a document string in the first line so that this doc string talks or describes about the function, the functionality of the function. Right. What are the different types of function that are available in Python? There are especially two types. One is custom defined or user defined. Okay, and the second one is inbuilt or built-in functions. Okay, custom defined or user defined functions are nothing but the end user, whoever is going to describe the function. Okay, so user can customize the code, the block of code as per the requirements. Those kind of functions are called custom defined or user defined functions. Right? Whereas inbuilt or built-in functions are the functions which are already existing in Python. And how many inbuilt functions are present in the recent version of Python, that is 3.13, is 68. There are in total 68 inbuilt functions or built-in functions in Python. Right. So as part of custom defined functions, we have understood the syntax. Then we understood types of, or before that arguments, we understood what is a parameter and what is an argument. Parameters are nothing but the variables or the values that we use during function defining or function definition. When we are defining a function, we use values, right? Those values are called parameters. And for these parameters, when we call the function, we actually pass the values. The values are called arguments. Okay, and we also understood different types of arguments. What are the different types of arguments that we have understood yesterday, guys? So the first one is positional argument. Positional argument. What are positional arguments? Positional arguments are the arguments which are defined or where the values will be assigned to the arguments based on their position. Okay, so based on the position in the sequence of order, the values get assigned to the variables. Then the second type of argument that we have discussed is keyword arguments. In keyword arguments, the position doesn't matter because when we call the function after defining it, we come up with the keyword. We also use the keyword for the value. Okay, so the order does not matter in case of keyword argument, right? Then we have default arguments. Default arguments are the arguments where the parameter or the argument takes a value during function definition itself. Okay, when we call the function and if we don't pass any value to this argument, by default it takes the value that we have defined during function definition. Okay, what if you pass a value to this default argument? By default, as you are passing it, it takes the value, right? Then we also discussed variable length arguments. What are variable length arguments? Variable length arguments are nothing but the arguments which are generally represented with single asterisk mark. And what is the purpose of using variable length argument? It accepts multiple positional arguments, and for any function it's you should only declare one variable length argument. Multiple is not necessary. Then the final one is keyword variable length arguments. How do we represent keyword variable length arguments? Double asterisk mark. Okay, double asterisk mark itself represents that it's a keyword variable length argument. What is the purpose of keyword variable length argument? It accepts multiple keyword arguments. So you can pass multiple keyword arguments to a single keyword variable length argument. And by default, it packs the arguments to a dictionary. And variable length argument packs the objects to a tuple. Okay, so this is what we have discussed yesterday with respect to the arguments, right? And when it comes to the sequence of the arguments in the function, initially we should have positional argument followed by a variable length argument, then followed by a default argument, then finally keyword variable length argument. So this is the order. We also understood this with an example, right? So this is also clear, right? Then what else was being discussed? Post discussing types of arguments, we discussed some inbuilt functions. Inbuilt functions or built-in functions are nothing but the functions which are readily available in Python. Okay, so some of the inbuilt functions that we have discussed are sorted function, print function, type function, length function, min function, max, range. So all of them are nothing but functions. But are they custom defined or user defined? They are not custom defined, they are not user defined. They are inbuilt or built-in functions. Why? Because they are already present in Python. You are just using it for your accomplishment of task, right? You are not defining it. Since we are not defining it, they cannot be part of custom defined or user defined functions. They are inbuilt or built-in functions. Type function will return the type of the function. Length function will return the size of the object. Then print function prints the output to the console. What else? Min function returns the minimum value present in the object. Max function returns the maximum value present in the object. Then sorted function. This is important. Sorted function is used to sort the elements or values present in the object. By default, it sorts in ascending order. And if you want the output in the descending order, we have to use a parameter reverse. Reverse is equals to true. Right. And we understood what makes the difference between sort and sorted. So sorted does not do in place operation, whereas sort performs in place operation. This was also covered. And we discussed power function, right? Then what else, guys? Yep, round function. So many, we have discussed many functions, inbuilt functions, and post discussing inbuilt or built-in functions, we understood lambda functions. What are lambda functions? Lambda functions are nothing but the third type of function. They are called as anonymous functions. Okay, since there is no name for the function, we name it as anonymous or lambda functions. Why in general these lambda functions or anonymous functions are used is they are used for specific task at that particular time, and the syntax is lambda keyword followed by list of parameters, whatever it might be, colon, then the single statement. So it contains only a single statement. It is not like a custom defined function. Okay, so we have to define all the code or whatever is your requirement. You have to keep it in a single statement only, right? That makes the difference between lambda functions and normal functions. Then the final function that we have also understood is recursive functions. What are recursive functions? Nothing but function that is used, that is called within itself. Okay, for that we took an example for factorial. So friends, whoever have missed it, okay, and if you are not that much clear with respect to functions topic, I request all of you to watch the video again. Functions are like the pillars for Python programming. Okay, so majority of the cases we just use only functions. Just using the function, job done, right? So just go and watch functions video, and if you have any kind of questions, comment them. We'll reply immediately, and share across multiple channels, across your friends or your family, relatives, whoever it might be, and just hit on the like button. So right, so this is what we have understood so far. Now let us jump into the topic for the day. It is NumPy. NumPy, a very widely used module or library across Python. Okay, very important module or library. Okay, so today session is very important, guys, because today and tomorrow, that is, today we are going to cover NumPy and tomorrow it will be pandas. So I request all of you to focus, and if you focus, we'll be covering all the important topics of NumPy. Right? So majority of your hands-on and theoretical class will be done with respect to NumPy today. Right. So let us jump into the class. What is NumPy? NumPy actually stands for numerical Python. So NUM is nothing but numerical, and PY stands for Python. Numerical Python, is nothing but NumPy. It was developed in the year 2005. So almost we are at the end of 2024, right? So soon we are going to start 2025. So it is almost 20 years the start of NumPy module. Then NumPy was developed in both C as well as Python languages. In both these languages, you will find this module, NumPy module, numerical Python. And this NumPy is one of the predefined third-party module that is present in Python. And Akhil, you are using this word called module multiple times. What exactly is this module? Okay, so a module is nothing but it's a collection of variables. So you'll have variables, then you'll have functions and classes. So classes will be, in general, it comes in the OOPS concept, but we know what are variables and functions because these two topics were being covered so far. But a module means a collection of variables, functions, and classes. So together they are called as module. So that means in NumPy, we have these three together. Right. So from here onwards, we'll be talking about multiple modules, guys. Okay, multiple libraries. So as we discussed, as part of Python features, Python is having rich libraries. Okay, so time again we'll be using these libraries. What is the syntax for installing any module? If that is the question, here is the syntax. Pip install module name. It is pip install module name. Okay, this is fine. What is pip? Pip is actually a tool. When you run this command over the internet, it connects to a repository called PyPy. So people, guys, whenever you are free, just visit this PyPy repository. And what happens in the backend is this command connects to the PyPy repository of the module and it installs the module for the first time. Only for the first time you have to install it. Like how we install softwares, in the same way, we have to install a module as well. And this will be the syntax. Pip install module name. Okay, so as Python is case sensitive, I request always see. For example, I'll just give an example. I don't have NumPy in my machine. Okay, I'm going to use NumPy for the first time. Assume. So what is the first step? I have to install it. What is the syntax? Pip space install space NumPy. Akhil, 1 minute. You told Python is case sensitive, right? Yes. How sure are you? Is it NumPy in lowercase or NumPy in uppercase or NumPy in proper case? Out of these three, which is correct? Because if this is correct, it executes, or if this is correct, this executes, or NumPy in uppercase is correct, then this executes. How should I know that NumPy should be in lowercase or proper case or uppercase or something like this? How do I know? That's what, my friend. Visit PyPy repository. Okay, visit PyPy repository. You open any of the, before installing any module, do one thing. Open any one browser. Okay, open a browser and search for the module space PyPy. You'll get multiple links. Click on the first link of the PyPy repository. It will navigate to one more page where you'll find the PyPy repository. Okay, if time permits, let me show it to you now. See, I have opened a browser and I'm keeping as numpy space pypi. Then click on enter. Yes, the moment I clicked on enter, I see, the repository pypi.org numpy.pypi. So this is the actual link. Click on it. And if you scroll down, you will find the complete description for the module C. Okay, and if you see, here is the command pip install numpy. So it's clear that numpy is in lowercase. Now just copy it from here. Okay, go back to your spider and in the console paste it, then click on enter. Immediately it starts executing this command. So it is installing NumPy. It started installing the NumPy. If you see under execution, it is done. And for me, it is already present in my system. It says requirement already satisfied. If you are doing for the first time, it will install this NumPy package in your system. Okay, and you'll get a successful message, a message as successfully installed. Only then you have to make sure that installation is done. So this is mandatory for any module that you are going to use. Before you use that module, you have to install the module. Only then you can use it. Right? Good. Now it's clear. So I understood that Python is case sensitive. In order to cross check that what is the case of my module, it's better if I go and visit pypy.org. I'll get the command and I'll copy the command from the org link and I'll paste it in the console and click on enter. So that will install the module. So post installing the module, you can actually, you know, so here is an example. Post installing it, you have to import it in the script. Okay, that we'll discuss in the next steps. Right, let's get started without no delay. Let's get started. Right, so in NumPy especially, this data, whatever we are going to create, is always in the form of arrays, n-dimensional arrays. Okay, so in NumPy especially you will find only ND arrays. All of them are ND arrays. N dimensional arrays. This might be 1D array, 2D array, 3D, so on. N can take any value. Okay, so a 2D array is nothing but a matrix. Okay, a 2D array is nothing but a matrix. So two dimensions, 2D is nothing but two dimensional. 1D means one dimensional. 3D means three dimensional. Right? So we are going to continuously work on arrays only for the day. But for creating these arrays, we need some functions, right? So these functions are present in NumPy module. We are going to use these functions and create these ND arrays. Okay, and these ND arrays are mutable. What is the meaning of mutable, friends? What is the uh, meaning for mutable? Mutable is nothing but they are changeable. Even after creating them, we can edit it. Yes. Okay. Then, in general, an ND array can store only similar data type values. Even though if you try to store different data type values, it will execute. But internally, all of these values will be treated as only type object. Okay, so it will be treated as the type object. They'll not. It doesn't deviate with respect to the type. But what is the main advantage of working on arrays? Arrays perform complex mathematical calculations very easily and it takes very less space in the memory. So there are a lot of advantages of using ND arrays, nothing but arrays. Okay, so let us understand how can we create these arrays using NumPy. Okay, and arrays support the topic of indexing. It supports indexing. If it supports indexing, we can also work on slicing. Okay, ND arrays are mutable. So all these operations, we are going to do it today, and I hope the session will be really great because this is the first module that we are going to learn as part of our program. So concentrate, guys. Here is the list of functions that are actually used for creating arrays, ND arrays. The first one is array function, then arrange function, zeros, ones, full, and identity. So we'll discuss one by one. Okay, then we'll actually go into the rest of the topics. Let me start with array function. Okay, so this array function is used for converting the traditional objects present in Python into ND array object. Okay, so they are especially used for conversion of a traditional object in Python to an ND array object. Akhil, I did not understand. Can you take any example and just prove it? Yes. When I take an example, it will be very clear, guys. Here is the syntax of array function, and the syntax is numpy dot array of object comma d type. So what exactly is this? Let us understand. Right. We have installed NumPy, right? Yes. NumPy installation was done. After installing NumPy, we have to import NumPy. Okay. Since NumPy is a module, what is a module? Module is nothing but it's a collection of variables, variables, functions, and classes. Right. So if I want to use array function which is present in NumPy, I have to import NumPy initially. Okay, for importing a module, the syntax will be like import keyword followed by module name. Okay, it's nothing but import NumPy. Import is a keyword, guys. Okay, so if I click on this execute button, so NumPy was imported from my local machine to the sessions memory. Then what makes the difference between line number 35 and 36? In 36 also, I'm going to import NumPy, but I'm giving a shortcut name, an alias name. As is again a keyword present in Python, which is used for giving an alias name. So instead of calling NumPy every time, I'll give a shortcut name. I'll make it as NP. Okay. Akhil, why only NP? Why can't I give something else? Yes, you can give anything, friend. Okay, then try it with your name. Okay. Import NumPy as Akhil. Will it execute? Yes, for sure it will execute. But instead of calling NumPy as NumPy, you have to call it as Akhil every time. Is that okay? So think of, right? A shortcut, when you are trying to give a shortcut, so it should be short compared to your original value, right? So why only NP? If you have the question, this is universal standard. Across the globe, wherever you go, NumPy is considered as the shortcut with NP. Wherever you go, because this is actually representing a standard for the NumPy module. Okay, so let us not dig much. So what makes the difference? Here I am just importing NumPy, and in line number 36, apart from importing, I'm also giving an alias name. Done. Then what am I doing in line number 38? From here onwards, I want you guys to answer. What are we doing in line number 38? Okay, let me make it big then. Is it clear now? Right. What are we doing in line number 38, guys? I want you guys to respond. Don't sit idle. I'm going to create a list object. Yes, creating a list. What? A list of integers size 6. And I'm assigning to a variable L1. L1 is a list of size 6, and this is the list. Okay. Then what are we doing in line number 39? I'm just printing the list. Then apart from printing the list, I also want the type of L1. So in order to cross check, I'm using type function. So this should return as list. Yes, it returned a list. Clear? Using array function which is present in NumPy. Okay, I'm converting this list into an array object. What is the purpose of array function? The purpose of an array function is used for converting traditional Python objects into ND array objects. Okay, that is what is being done. A list is being converted to an array. Okay, so that's fine, that's good. But why did you place NP? What is the reason actually? My dear friend, array comes from NumPy package. So the dot that you see between NP and array is representing hierarchy. As we discussed, NumPy module is a collection of variables, functions, and classes. Array is one of the function present in NumPy. As I have given a alias name for NumPy as NP, so NP dot array of the object should be specified. And where am I storing this array? I am storing in variable A. See, variable name is A and the type is array. Okay, then size is 6 and let me open it. This is my array. This is my array. Right. Now, let me print array to the console. Then, apart from printing, I also want the type of A. So, it should give me an ND array object, numpy.nd array. In NumPy, majority of the functions return only array, ND array objects. I hope it's clear, guys. Now let me take a tuple object. Okay, I'm going to create a tuple of size 6 and I'm assigning to a variable t. T tuple 6. These are the elements 1 to 6. Now tuple, let us convert this tuple to array object. The same syntax is same. NP dot array of the tuple object, which is nothing but t, and I'm storing in A. See, let me print A. Even if you don't use print function, if you just keep the variable and execute, it will print. See, it's an array and these are the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hope it's clear, right? Then in array function, we have some attributes. Okay, one of the attribute is ndim, n dimension. Okay, this ndim returns what is the dimension of that array. A is an array, right? So in general, attributes are called with object dot attribute syntax. The syntax will be very simple. Object dot attribute. So these are not functions, guys. If it is a function, it should have parentheses. That is different and these are different. Okay. So let me execute line number 49. In my case, A is a one-dimensional array. It's a one-dimensional array. Do I have multiple dimensions? No. It's only a one dimension. What is the data type? D type is nothing but the data type of the values present in this array A. It's nothing but integer. In 32. 32 is again, talking about the bytes. That's a different topic. Let us not go into that. Okay. It's the values that are present in A is array A is integers, int. Right. Then A dot shape. Let us also talk about shape attribute. Shape attribute will give you the rows and columns, the dimension of the array. So since it is only a one dimensional array, I should get only one value. So it is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So it is only 6. I hope it's clear. Now let me use a function called reshape. Okay, a function called reshape. Okay, so this reshape will actually change the shape of your object. A is an array of size 6 comma, which is representing, it's a one dimensional array. But what am I doing? I'm going to reshape it into two dimensional. How come it will be two dimensional? It means 3 is representing rows and 2 is representing columns. A one dimensional array is being converted to two dimensional using reshape function. Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. How come? Let me show it to you. I am storing it in a variable b. B is an array of size 3 comma 2, and instead of showing the values for array, it displays minimum and maximum. Okay, but if you want to see the complete array, better use print function or just the variable, so that it just prints or gives the output to the console. See what happened. See, array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. This was a one dimensional array, which is nothing but A. This got converted to two dimensional array. Like, it should keep 3 rows and 2 columns. So 3 rows, right? And how many columns? 2 columns. What are rows? Rows are nothing but the horizontal one. These are rows. What are columns? The vertical one are columns. Okay, so I need not explain these things, right? Right. So let us convert this into a two-dimensional object, 3 rows and 2 columns. So let it will start from the basic, the first element, 1, 2. Since it should have only 2 columns, so column 1, column 2 done. The next element goes to the next row, 3, 4, then 5, 6. Satisfied? Row 1, row 2, row 3, column 1, column 2. So this is nothing but a two-dimensional array. That is what we have got. I hope it's clear, guys. Reshape function is used for changing the shape of your original object. In this case, a 1D array is being converted to 2D array. That's what you see, a one-dimensional and a two-dimensional array. Right. So can you tell me what will be the output for line number 56? In the same way, what will be the output for line number 56? Make it fast. I'm using reshape function, but this time I want 2 rows and 3 columns. I'm again converting a one-dimensional object to a two-dimensional object only. Okay, but what will be the output? The output will be 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6. Don't get confused. It should have only 2 rows, and I have 2 rows, 3 columns. First column, second column, third column. Is it clear? Right. Now let me take a nested tuple. Oh my God. Seems bit confusing. Nothing confusing. These are basics. A tuple object inside which I have again a tuple object. So obviously it becomes a nested tuple. right? A nested tuple is being defined and stored in variable t1. What is the size? It is 2, guys. Don't say 4. It cannot be 4. Size 2. This will be 1. This will be 2. Okay. Then let me print t1 and type of t1. So printing the nested tuple as it is, and it is a tuple object. Right. Now, what are we doing in line number 62? What are we doing in line number 62? I'm using array function which is present in NumPy, and I'm converting this tuple to a nested tuple to an array object. Oh my god. So, is this and this both are same? No. Why? Because this is just a tuple object, and if you are trying to convert the tuple object into an array, you'll get a one-dimensional tuple object because it's a tuple. But here it's a nested tuple. Will you get the same tuple, the same array, one-dimensional array? No. You'll get a two-dimensional array, and the size will be 2 by 2. Let me print it. See. This will be of row 1 and this will be in the row 2. Even if you see in the variable explorer, A is a two-dimensional array, 2 by 2. Okay. And this is just because of the nested tuple that we are using. Right. Okay. So this is also clear. What does A dot ndim return? Now A is a two-dimensional object. So ndim, which generally returns the dimension, which dimension it is. So it has to return 2. It has to return 2 because A is a two-dimensional object now. And A dot shape returns both the size. Okay, so this will be 2 comma 2. 2 rows, 2 columns. Oh my god. What is this, Akhil? A nested tuple. Again, this is a nested tuple, but if you see inside a tuple, there are 2 tuples. Okay, inside these 2 tuples, there are again 2 tuples. So, am I complicating it? I'm not complicating it. We are trying to learn more examples. Okay, if you understand the concept, you need not worry. Okay, so let me create that nested tuple. What is the size? Size will be 2. See. Okay, if I open this, again the size will be 2. Let me open this. Size is 2. Again, let me open this. This is integers. So, in this way, you can go to the last root. Okay, from root to the leaf, you can go till the last point. The advantage of using spider. Alright. So, let me print T1 and the type of T1. It is nothing but a tuple, and I'm just printing T1. Now I'm converting this T1 into an array object. So what will be the output? Will it be a two-dimensional array or one-dimensional array or three-dimensional array? It will be a three-dimensional array. Okay, so on what basis can you tell this, Akhil? You see here, how many values you see here? It's 3, right? So let me explain you actually these 3 values. 2 comma 2 comma 3. What does 2 comma 2 comma 3 represent? 2 comma 2 comma 3 represents, by default, let us talk about these 2. This is representing rows, this is representing columns. So only 2 rows I have to have, 2 rows satisfied. Even here also it is 2 rows. And how many columns? 3 columns. Columns satisfied. 3 columns satisfied. Then what is this initial 2 that we have? The first two that we have in the size is it represents number of matrices. Okay, in a three dimension, the first number talks about number of matrices. This is a matrix and this is a matrix. So two matrix you have 2 comma 2 comma 3. Is it clear? And trust me guys, if you understand NumPy clearly, if you understand NumPy module without no questions, you can confirm or you can make sure that arrays or working on arrays topic will be easy for you. Dealing arrays, okay, during your hands-on or any project, it will be very easy. But a data analyst, how many of you have heard the term data analyst? Not sure? Okay, let me tell you what is the role of a data analyst. A data analyst is a guy who actually performs analysis on the data. Okay, so in corporates or you say wherever the real world, wherever you take any company, it you know documents the data. On this data, we have to do some kind of analysis. Only after performing the analysis, we get insights. Okay, based on these insights, the companies take actions. Right? So based on these actions, their profits get increased. So this is how a cycle is being observed over here. But in general, this is the process. Data analyst is a guy who actually performs analysis on the data, and this person should be very clear with NumPy and Pandas modules. These two modules are the key role for a data analyst. So don't waste your time, friends. When I'm just asking you the questions, if you don't understand, use the chat and respond. And if try to answer the questions, don't sit idle. Okay, so let us jump back. Now it's clear. So a dot and dim, this should return, now a is not a two-dimensional object, it is a three-dimensional object, so it has to return 3. And dim is an attribute present in NumPy, okay, array function, and this will return the dimension, what kind of array it is. Is it a one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, three-dimensional, or n-dimensional array? Okay, so then we also have shape function. This shape attribute. The shape attribute will return the shape of the array. It will be 2 comma 2 comma 3. Simple. Now, what will be the output for line number 78? Because this is not a new function for us. I have a three-dimensional array and I'm converting the three-dimensional array using reshape into again a three-dimensional array. Is that possible? Is it possible, Akhil? Yes, it's possible. But let us check first. What is your actual size of A? It is 2 comma 2 comma 3. And how do you want to convert it? I want to convert it into 3 comma 2 comma 2. Okay, this is fine. So what does the first number talk about? The first number talk about number of matrices in the array, in the three-dimensional array. What does the second number talk about? The second number talk about number of rows in the each matrix. Then third number talks about number of columns in each matrix. Fine. Now can you map the same here? Yes, I can map the same. Right. Please continue. Okay. So in the output, I will have three matrices, and in each matrix I will have two rows and two columns. But first of all, will it, will it execute or will it throw any error or not? That we have to check. As a simple logic, here is the solution. When you multiply these three, what will be your output? 12. 2 into 2, 4. 4 threes are 12. In the same way, multiply these two, 12. So it works. Let me execute and show it to you. So this is my actual, you know, uh, the original A 10, 20, 15, 30, 40, 25, 50, 60, 18, 70, 80, 35. But this I'm going to convert into three matrices, two rows and two columns. So in simple, it will be 10, 20, 15, 30 will be the first matrix, 40, 25, 50, 60 will be the second matrix, 18, 70, 80, 35 will be the third matrix. Let me execute and show you the output. How simple it is. How simple it is. Only thing is understand the logic, guys. If you understand the logic, I'm telling you, you can play with the module. Okay, so in the module you will have multiple functions. It's better if you know more the functions, you are going to grab more the knowledge. Depending on your requirement, you are going to use that particular function. Right. So this is an introduction and hands-on with respect to array function present in NumPy module. Okay, present in NumPy module. Right. Now let us jump into the next function that we have. In the same module, we can also create these ND arrays using arange function. Oh, what is this arange? Akhil, I think we discussed range function as part of inbuilt functions yesterday. Yes, range function is an inbuilt function present in Python. We have a function called arange. Okay, we have a function called arange which is present in NumPy module. Okay, what is the syntax of arange function, Akhil? It is again the same, similar to range. Range function, the syntax is range of start, stop, step. Okay, then again it is same, right? Yeah, it is same. But the function is arange and it comes from NumPy. So np dot arange of start, stop, step size should be this will be the syntax. Okay, and this arange function is used to create ND arrays in NumPy. And using arange function, we can just create only 1D arrays, only one dimensional arrays. We cannot create 2D or more than 2D arrays, not possible. 1 minute. Okay, excuse me. Now let us go with the hands-on. So let me import the NumPy as NP, but before that let me remove or clear my memory. Now I'll execute. Guys, if you have any kind of questions, shoot them immediately. Okay, if not, we'll discuss at the last. That will be fine. Okay. Import NumPy as NP. I'm importing NumPy as NP. Now I'm going to create an array using arange function present in NumPy module, and the syntax is 10 comma 23 comma 2. So again the same, start, stop, step size. So what are the elements or the values that will be part of array A? Starting from 10, the next number will be 12. The next number will be 14, then 16, 18, 20, 22. Then it will stop. It will stop. See, starting from 10, these are the elements. Right. Now let me print type of A and A together. So A is nothing but this numbers from 10 to 22 and it's a array. What kind of array? It is a one dimensional array. Keep it in mind guys. An arrange object, an arrange function will create only one dimensional objects, one dimensional arrays. We cannot create two dimensional or more than two dimensional arrays using arrange function. Okay, fine. That's okay actually. Then what will be the output for a dot ndim? Obviously it should be 1 because I create an array object using array function which is present in NumPy. Obviously it creates only a one dimensional object. So it's clear. Now let us jump into the next example. In the next example, I am going to create an array of one dimension using arrange function present in NumPy where I had only two values, start and stop. Oh my god. What does step take then? Friends, what does step takes in this case? Because Akhil, you told the syntax is start, stop, and step. But I don't see step here in line number 92. What does step takes in line number 92? What will be the value of step? Comment. Use chat. Step by default takes 1. By default, seems like everyone, they are not memorizing the concepts. Python, especially if you want to learn Python, you should be good at foundations, nothing but basics. Nothing but basics. This was not a new topic that we are going to discuss today. We did not discuss this topic today. We discussed long back when we discussed data types. As part of data types, did we discuss slicing? Yes. What is the syntax for slicing? Start colon, stop colon, step size. What is the default value of start? 0. What is the default value of step? 1. So even though if you don't pass anything, it's again the same guys. That's what I have told. Okay. Even though if you don't pass anything for step, by default it is nothing but comma 1. Don't get confused. Okay. So I'm going to generate the numbers from 50 till 62, which is my stop value where the step is 1. So the numbers will be 50, 51, 52, so on. 61, 62 will be not included because 62 is the stop value and it will be a one dimensional array since it is created using arrange function present in NumPy. See. Is it clear? Yes. Then let us go to the next topic. What is this? Oh my god. Seems like there is no start or there is no stop. What is this? It is nothing but this is actually representing stop. 10 represents stop. Right? There is no start, which means by default start takes 0 and by default step takes 1. So What will be the output? It will create an array starting from 0 till 9. Let me print it 0 till 9, and it is an ND array. What is the n dimension? It will be 1. Same. Now, can you please answer for this question? I mean, what will be the output for line number 100? NP dot arrange of 10 comma 22 comma 2. What values will array A hold? Starting from 10, what will be the rest values? Please use chat and keep your answers. Now post your answers. It starts from 10, the next value will be 12, then 14, then 16, 18, 20. Will 22 be part of the output array A? No. Why? Because 22 is my stop value and it should stop at 21 itself. So 22 will not be part of array A. Let me print it. Is it clear? Yeah. And arrange function is just printing only one dimensional arrays, right? So let me go and use reshape function to make or to generate two dimensional arrays. So this array A, I'm using reshape function and I'm converting to a two dimensional array. A one dimensional array is being converted to a two dimensional array. Okay, what is the dimension? 2 comma 3. Will it support? Yes, 2 3s are 6, and here I also have 6 values. So the output will hold 2 rows and 3 columns, nothing but 10, 12, 14 will be first row, 16, 18, 20 will be the next row. It is stored in B. So let me print B to the console. Clear? Yes. Now, let me also do one thing. I don't want 2 rows. Let me get 3 rows. 3 rows, 2 columns. Is it possible? Yes. Let me print C to the console. 10, 12, 14, 16, okay, 18, 20. So B dot NDIM will return output 2 because it's a two-dimensional object. C dot NDIM will also return 2 because it is also a two-dimensional object, right? Then B dot shape will return. What does B dot shape returns? 2 comma 3, 2 rows, 3 columns, and C dot shape returns 3 comma 2, 3 rows, 2 columns. So with this, we mark the end of arange function present in NumPy module. Okay, now the next function that we are going to discuss is zeros. Zeros. Zeros function is used for building zero matrix. Okay, if you want to build a zero matrix, we can use zeros function present in NumPy module. And this zeros function can create a one-dimensional or a two-dimensional or n-dimensional arrays. It can create any dimension of arrays. Okay, what is the syntax? The syntax says numpy dot zeros of shape comma d type. You just specify the shape and the d type. If you don't specify the d type, it will by default take float. I'll just show you in the examples. So I'm importing numpy as np. Done. Then I'm going to use zeros function present in numpy. Okay, np dot zeros, and How many zeros you are going to have? 12. So I am going to have an array of 12 zeros, and by default it takes the d type as float. Let me print it. See, 0 point, 0 point, 0 point. All of them are nothing but zeros. But since I did not mention the d type, by default it takes float. Okay. What if you mention the d type? I don't want float, I want integers, but I want 12 zeros. Yes, let me print a zeros. This is a one-dimensional array of size 12. One-dimensional array of size 12. There are in total 12 zeros. Okay. Now let me play with reshape function. Using reshape function, I'll convert this one-dimensional array into two-dimensional array. Fine. What are the dimensions that we are going to give as part of reshape function? 6, 2. Okay. So 6 rows, 2 columns. Will it work? Yes, it will work. Because 6 twos are 12, and in the original A also I have 12 values, so it works. No, I want 2 rows and 6 columns. Even still it works because it should match, guys. That is the only condition. You see, 2 rows, 6 columns. It still works, right? No, I don't want to have two-dimensional object. Let me create a three-dimensional object using, reshape function. Fine. So that means two matrices, each matrix with 3 rows and 2 columns. Will it work? Yes. 2 threes are 6, 6 twos are 12. So this should also return output. So you will have two matrices, each matrix with 3 rows and 2 columns. Clear? Akhil, can you please change it? I don't want to have 2 columns. Let me have 3 columns. 3 columns with 2 rows and 2 columns. Will it possible? Will it work? Yes, it will work. 3, you see, 3 matrices. Each matrix contains 2 rows, 2 columns. It works. Okay. So seems like, Akhil, can we create any dimension of array? Right? We can create whatever the dimension that we are interested in. We can create that kind of array. Fine. If that is your question, here I am going to create a 4-dimensional array, because you see there are 4 values. But first of all, will it work? I have 12 values in A, all of them are 0, and you want the output as a 4-dimensional object. What will be the output here? 2 twos are 4, 4 twos are 8, 8 twos are 16. So in order to create this 4-dimensional array, I need 16 values. But how many values I have? 12. So this should throw us error. That will throw us error. The reason is you can create or you can change that one-dimensional object to n-dimensional object, but only thing is, it should match with the size. If you see here, reshape array of size 12 into shape, this cannot be done. It's a value error that we observe. It is not possible. Why? You have 12 values and you are trying to convert into a 4-dimensional object with 16 values. Impossible. Okay, got it, Akhil. What will be the output of this? Here, using zeros function, I just created one-dimensional objects. Can we create two-dimensional object? Yes, we can create two-dimensional, three-dimensional, n-dimensional objects also. But you should be clear with the syntax. Okay, the first argument talks about the shape. Since I specified the shape with two values, obviously it understands that I want my requirement is a two-dimensional array. Okay, how many rows? Three rows. How many columns? Three columns. What should be the data type? D type is integer. Let me print A. It's a two-dimensional array that we got using zeros. One is rows, three rows, and the next one is three columns. In the same way, I'm going to create a two-dimensional object where I want two rows and three columns. But since I did not specify d type as integer, by default it takes float. Time again, we'll just hear the word array, because NumPy deals with arrays. NumPy package is especially, designed for arrays. So post zeros in the same way we have ones. Like how zeros function is used for building a zeros matrix. In the same way, there is a function called ones which is used for building ones matrix. So using ones function, I can build a one-dimensional, two-dimensional or n-dimensional arrays. Yes, it is possible. So let me import it. Import NumPy. Done. Then np dot ones of 10. So I am going to build a matrix of a one-dimensional array because I'm just passing only one value, right? So it's going to create, it comes with 10 ones and it did not specify the d type. So by default, it takes float. See, 1 point. If you count all of them, it will be 10. No, I want integers. I don't want float. Then explicitly you have to keep in the ones function. D type is int. Now you will get only int. All the one, if you see, they are belonging to integer. Okay, so whatever you have done, Akhil, both of them are one-dimensional arrays, right? Yes, they are one-dimensional arrays. Can we also create two-dimensional arrays? Yes. Even two-dimensional can be created, three-dimensional can be created. But the only thing is specify the shape properly. What is your requirement? Okay, so 3 comma 4, 3 rows, 4 columns. When I specify properly, it becomes 3 rows and 4 columns. All of them will be 1 because it is one's function. In the same way, can I have a three-dimensional object created with ones? Yes. Yes. How many matrices will I get? 4 matrices. And each matrix will have 3 rows, 3 columns. Let me execute. See. Matrix 1, 3 rows, 3 columns. Matrix 2, 3 rows, 3 columns. Matrix 3, 3 rows, 3 columns. Matrix 4 with 3 rows, 3 columns. So one thing that I can understand is zeros function and ones function, both of them, using these two functions, I can create either a one-dimensional array or two-dimensional array or n-dimensional array. Depending on the shape that I specify in the function, that will result us with the output. Okay, zeros function will give only zeros. It will build only a zeros array, whereas ones function will build a ones array, an array with ones. Then the next function that is used to build the n-dimensional arrays is full. Depending on the element or the value that you want to fill for the array, you can use the full function. Again, the syntax is same, guys. The syntax for zeros, ones, and full is same. It is same. Okay, so let me create a array of one dimensional using full, where I want to fill the value with 9. The shape is 3. Okay, so since I have specified only one value, that means I want to create a one dimensional object, but it should hold 9. The array should have, it should be filled with 9. See, 9 comma 9 comma 9. In the same way, can I go with 8? Yes, but how many times? What is the shape? Again, it is a one dimensional array, but I want 8 for 6 times. So let me print it. It will be written as 8 comma 8 so on till 6 times. Akhil, can we create a two-dimensional array using full? Yes, yes, my friend. But specify the shape properly. 2 rows, 3 columns is what I want for my array, and for my entire array, I want to have only fours, digit 4. Is that possible? Yes. 2 rows, 3 columns. What is the value that was filled? 4. Because I have specified with 4, it prints, it will fill the array with 4. Then using reshape function, I am reshaping this particular A. Here it is 2 comma 3. I'll reshape it with 3 comma 2. 3 rows, 2 columns. The same, just changing the shape. Good. Let me create a three-dimensional object. 3 comma 3 comma 3. That means I want 3 matrices in which I'll have each matrix contains 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, and with what element you want to fill the matrix, fill the array? It is 7. See, if you have any specific requirement that would you like to have only one specific number, then go with full. If you want only ones, go with ones function. If you want only zeros, go with zeros function. So this is the clear understanding of full function present in NumPy module. Then we have the last function called identity present in NumPy, which is again used for building the same ND arrays. Okay, but this function actually builds an identity or unit matrix. How many of you remember identity matrix present in matrices? What does an identity matrix mean? Identity matrix is a matrix which is a square matrix where the diagonal elements will be 1 and the non-diagonal elements will be 0. Am I right? Yes. So you can build an unit matrix or identity matrix using identity function present in NumPy module. Okay, so let us do the same, and this identity can be used again for building this ND arrays. For that, I want a one-dimensional array where I am specifying that it is okay. So since if you see the syntax, it is representing n comma d type. So here n is representing either rows or columns, because an identity matrix or unit matrix is a matrix where number of columns will be equal to number of rows. So this n is talking about number of rows or number of columns. Okay, so when I try to create a 3, when I keep it as 3, it is going to create 3 rows and 3 columns array where the diagonal elements will be 1 and non-diagonal elements will be 0. See. In the same way, can we also create with 5 rows and 5 columns? Yes. Since I am not specifying the d type, it will by default take the float. The diagonal elements will be 1 and the non-diagonal elements will be 0. This is an ND array. Right? So This is the clear understanding of ND arrays concept. How can we generate ND arrays in NumPy module? We can create ND arrays using array function, arrange function, ones function, zeros function, full function, and also using identity function. Okay, each has its pros and cons, but if you understand the syntax, it is very easy, guys. Okay, I'll stop here. We'll discuss the rest of the topics, that is indexing and slicing, and we also had, you know, tomorrow the class will be interesting. The reason is we are going to discuss the topics of advanced indexing. So this is something weird, right? We did not talk about this advanced indexing concepts in the previous classes, not for the other data types, but you know, NumPy supports advanced indexing. What is this? We'll discuss tomorrow. So the class will be interesting, and also the arithmetic operators on NumPy, that is nothing but arrays. Okay, so we'll discuss all these topics tomorrow, and it's time for our questions. Any questions? 168. In line number 168, I'm going to create a two-dimensional object, okay, where I want to fill the entire two-dimensional object with element 4, with the value 4, and this two-dimensional object should have 2 rows and 3 columns. Simple, right? If no questions, thank you so much, guys, for joining the class, for joining the session, and I request all of you to, fill the feedback form, give your valuable feedback, share your valuable suggestions with us, so that we'll try to enhance the sessions. And if you feel these sessions are worthy, share across your friends, your multiple sources. But before you leave, just subscribe to our channel and hit on the like button. Thank you so much, guys. We'll connect tomorrow. Have a great day.